Hello everybody, just getting set up apparently just right in time as it appears the playoffs, or the match, is just about to begin. Let's find the match that we actually wanted to watch. Hey there all. I put in the titles that I wanted to watch Cecil H versus Trinhuv. Was not sure if Cecil was even going to show up, but someone's playing for him. So let's watch that game. Cecil's in my guild, and he's rocking the rad Rippling Abs Squad McLean, the new Macho Lotto skin. So totally worth watching just for that. Anyone who's Chad enough to rep that skin is worthy of being in my guild in my books. So apologies if I sound a little stuffy. I made the mistake of going to my office Christmas party earlier in the week. Or I guess late last week, I suppose. Now, I feel like I'm not at 100% HP. So we will see if that ends up turning into anything more unfortunate than just feeling under the weather. Okay. Yeah, I saw Cecil earlier on Discord saying that he was planning on not playing, but now it looks like one of his friends is playing, and of course, we have Cecil in this very chat saying that they are going to be playing, so probably Cecil and his friend together. Which means if we're waiting for anything, I know we've got a little bit of a delay built into the Apex Arena spectator interface, so if we were waiting for anyone, it was probably Trin. But we'll see what happens when things get underway here. Howdy Cobra, welcome back to the stream. Figuring out where all my chats are here. I've got YouTube here, Twitch here, Discord here. Probably not going to be tons of action on Discord while the game is on, but it's always worth monitoring just in case. Let's bring you down a little bit. Whoa, okay. Yeah, apologies also if I end up going to the old hanky on stream, super unprofessionally, but, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do when you're illin'. I can't even say I'm proper sick yet. We may get there. Yeah, Ding, I don't know. Maybe Cecil's pilot was not comfortable playing with the man himself in the box, although we still do have a pretty Cecil-tinged box here. So Cecil going to be going first, and we're on Gemini Bridge. Trinhuv's got an interesting box. So we've got Joanne Connie in the box. We've got... the order of everyone changed now. We've got an Archon in here, we've got Polyol and Alina. So Trinhuv certainly looking to be able to flex towards scary AoE, if necessary. Interesting first ban and pick here for Cecil. Banning out the Oboro, leaving the Rosen up. With the first pick of AO, it's certainly... tempting Trinhuv to go with the first pick Rosen and then go for like a Rosen and tank line, but this is already preemptively removing the main weapon that Trin would have available if he wanted to go with that team comp. So Oboro's out of the picture. It may make that a little bit less appealing. In fact, we may see Trin opt to just go for AO mirror match and first pick his own AO. If that's the case, the first ban of Rosen obviously still works out really well for that. But Cecil still has plenty of healing left in the box if something like that happens. So yeah, Trinhuv is... Okay, Trinhuv is actually going to go for a couple of the scary anti-turtle DPS, and sure enough is going to follow with that Rosen first pick. So yeah, we can see we still have this interesting healing setup here on Cecil's side, and also the Kaguya. So I think Cecil... I haven't really been following tons of his matches throughout this season, but it looks like he was still playing a similar style of box that he was enjoying earlier, which was the potential to be turtley. I'm glad to see Kaguya still in there. But like Ding said in the chat, he was playing Amadeus earlier too. But apparently dropped him for this high-stakes match. So one tank ban on Trinhuv's side already. Trin really thinking about this matchup. If he wants a tank, he's going to have to pick one here. He does have Christiane in the box instead of Hilda. And that's who he goes with. Nice anti-mage tank. Since Cecil had 4 tanks in his box, Trin was forced to ban out 2 of them if he wanted to strong-arm Cecil into a tank pick here. So we'll see if Cecil's going to call that bluff or not. If he wants to pick a tank, he has to do it now. Yeah, sure enough. Lightbringer comes out. And Trin could do the same thing with healers here. If he bans one healer, it's essentially going to force Cecil into a healer pick this turn. Which lets Trin, if he opts to go that way, yep, ban a healer and 1 DPS, which is what he does. Liana and Gin go down. Cecil probably going to have to pick Elma or Lugner, and that gives Trinhuv the opportunity to ban out the other 2 DPS here. Zaruz12, welcome to the chat. Thank you. Thank you for stopping by, that is. Alright, now we get to see what Trinhuv thinks is the most dangerous. Probably, for me, I would think getting rid of the 2 DPS would let him play. Oh, he's going to get rid of the healer. Okay, the exact opposite of what I thought. Get rid of the other tank, get rid of the healer. That makes sense, though. Like, it gives Cecil's team less sustain going into, like, the end game. With only 1 tank, it also lets Trin potentially chew through that tank and then have ready access to the rest of the team. And with only 1 healer, even though it is Elma, it does mean that Trin can try to either assassinate that healer or overwhelm the team with damage and hope that the healer can't bring Cecil's team back out of it. I just don't like the idea of facing, like, AO and McLean and another DPS. Although that said, when you've got Christiane and you've got Rosenseal, and other than McLean, the DPS that you're leaving up are magical, kind of half AoE-based magical attackers, they do seem less threatening. Oh, yeah, well, thanks for watching the channel as well, but definitely good to have people show up live and say hello. Okay, so Trinhuv is basically kind of out-turtling the Turtle Master over here. We've got 2 tanks. Lightbringer can chip in a little bit with, like, throwing some damage out and doing some incidental healing to the rest of the team. And then the primary DPS here are just going to be Lostum and Zed2, who can't ignore guard. So she's going to be punching Lightbringers. While this is happening, Trinhuv is basically going to hope that Cecil's McLean is not able to one-shot either of these important DPS. Cruciferous Sprout, Soda, welcome to the stream. Potential big match here. Cecil is definitely a strong player. He's a very intelligent player. And he uses that to play the kind of box and the kind of game style that he likes to play. This comp here looks fairly meta, but he's definitely capable of playing, you know, when he throws strange stuff like Kaguya or Amadeus into his box. He knows how to make it work. He doesn't just do it because he wants to meme with it and then see how it pans out. Trin definitely with a strong meta comp here as well. And Trinhuv, I believe, was in like the top 3 or so of the regular season rankings. Maybe top 1, actually. I totally forget. But consistently a strong player, so I think we're in for a really good match here between two good players. So we are just waiting briefly while the players set up their skills, soldiers, and positioning. And then we'll catch up with them as soon as the map loads in. Which is right now. Okay, so we have the primarily single target. I mean, they brought their no-brainer AoEs, but their usually flex skills are all single target, which makes sense. We've also got Guardian Infantry on the tank. Yeah, Lord, I tend to agree primarily because of this McLean. If it wasn't for McLean here, I would say that he's going to have a harder time getting through Trin stalling out and chipping away at him. But McLean is threatening, so Trin's going to have to be really careful that that McLean doesn't pop off one of his win cons. And if he does that, then it's going to be harder for Trinhuv to catch back up. So on this side, we are seeing Sand Seas instead of Faceless. Lightbringer has her endgame DPS skill. Just wanted to see what Zerda had. Okay, so she just has Air Slash, which makes sense. Any thoughts about Apotheosis? Yeah, I like Apotheosis. I think he kind of flew under the radar a little bit in Global at first. But by the time the playoffs in China rolled around, Apotheosis was in everyone's box. And he was making plays. So I think he's a good unit. More so for PvP than PvE, obviously. But I'm recording, or editing, my Should You Summon video also this weekend. So you'll hear my full thoughts on Apotheosis coming up this week. I'm planning to summon for him. Let's just say that. I'm actually sitting on a lot of summons right now, thanks to, in large part, thanks to just having really good luck on the Slayers crossover banner. So thankfully that left me with a lot of supplies to put towards Apotheosis. Okay, and we catch a breeze on that McLean. Which is going to cause Trin to reevaluate his opening positioning a little bit here. Definitely doesn't want this Lostum going down in the first round. We have Strengthen on Lightbringer for the Lostum. Oh, he is using the applesauce skin on Lostum, though, so now we immediately are cheering for that exceptionally tiny Doberman. Exceptionally tiny. Also, for some reason, the Doberman's animation cycle makes it look like it's like pecking at the ground, like a chicken. Dobermans don't really graze or forage like that, unless there's delicious kibbies on the ground. Camus, yes, AO should be coming back on the anniversary banner, so we're actually going to have reruns of all the limited banners so far. We're going to be having the Watham banner, the AO banner, and the Apotheosis banner all running at the same time. So anniversary is always a great time for people to come back to the game or join the game because there's lots of opportunity to catch up on those limited units. In fact, I would even go so far as to say that for someone who doesn't have her, summoning for AO is more important than summoning for Apotheosis. Okay, portals are deployed. Need her quick. Well, I hope you have good luck on your summons. She's definitely a very satisfying unit to get a hold of. She does so much stuff. She just feels great in PvE. Like when I started my Gimmick Kong of Time account, it was basically summon AO right away and put all my resources into building her, and then she carries the rest of my Heroes of Time units. So far. Very interested in seeing what Trin is hoping to make happen here. It's a 40% chance when you do pop an SSR for it to be that limited unit. It's still the usual 1.8% chance of being an SSR, so you're going to see lots of like SR summons and R summons. Then when you do get an SSR, 40% chance to be the limited unit of your choosing, depending on what banner you're on. And all three of those banners have the Constellation Shard mechanic, where if you summon an off-banner SSR, you get 10 or 15 shards of the on-banner unit, just to say sorry for jerking you around. Usually there's like one person each time those banners come around that has to go to the hard pity of 600 summons to get their unit of choice. So, you know, the odds aren't great that you have to go that far. Brad, that's a question I'll leave to the chat, because it's kind of subjective on who you want to use your rainbow shards on. Usually I save my rainbow shards and I don't use them until, like, if the next day I need to field a unit for playoffs or something, then I'll build that unit and have them ready. But throughout the regular season, like if you're not an Apex player or a playoffs player, you kind of don't really need to use them that strategically, so you can just use them to speed up a unit in your stable. Personally, I'm hoarding mine for Isolde just because I really like the design of her character. But yeah, Eshin is a good potential target for them as well. So is AO. Getting your AO next week and then having her built up fast means you'll be able to use her in all content a lot sooner, so she's pretty strong. Okay, so Zerida got a breeze there, but Zerida's the one who doesn't really need it as much, because she can hop in. I guess Lostom has this one turn of mobility, but again, he can hook in too, so these aren't really going to open up too much in terms of possibilities for these guys. I just don't know who Lostom is going to pop off on this team. Like, the McLean is the real threat here. I don't know if this Lostom one-shots McLean. I mean, we know Lostom can one-shot Annie in melee. But Annie's also not exactly necessarily the biggest threat to Trin's team. And yeah, like Lord noted earlier, Cecil happy to stay a little bit back here so far. He's not exactly pushing too hard into mid. I guess he knows that once Trin starts pushing into mid, that may open up an opportunity for him to grab a kill with his McLean, for example. Sprite looks pretty cool too. Too bad you can't see the rest of his little Lapras because of those glacial elementals. Okay, so Miracle has been deployed, which means, that usually means that we're setting up for an attack. We've got Strengthen, we've got Miracle now. This Lostom is about as powered up as he's going to be. He's also got the mobility boost, so he has about as much reach as he's ever going to have. So let's see what the plan is. We've got a tiny Ares effigy up front here. Mainly body blocking against this Annie, it looks like. Although it's not in guard, so if Trin wanted to really play this match slow, he could just 3C this candle and then retreat. But that kind of opens him up to getting McLeaned. Alright, let's see what the plan is here. He's going in. He's going to catch a debuff off this portal. Or not, I guess. He has Rosenstacks. Oh no, he didn't haul through his own unit. So maybe that was just to burn... No, that had to have been a mistake. That had to have been a mistake. Because if you just want to burn turns or cooldowns or something, you don't use your grapnel, you just stand there or move. Maybe he forgot that he couldn't grapple through his own unit. It's always my tendency to first try to examine if there's possibly a rational reason for doing something, not just like call it a mistake or a misplay, but I don't see any rational reason for making that play on purpose. Okay. So Lostum is just going to go camp somewhere and get his grapnel cooldown back. But unfortunately, he also burned off all his buffs there, so he's going to need to be stacked back up before Trin can put him to good use again. That gives Cecil an opening to get back into the middle of the map, close in, and put some more pressure on. We're also not going to see Miracle on him for another several turns, so if he's going to make a play, it's going to have to be without full buffage. Cecil just casually refreshing his McLean's Breeze. So if he did want to go after this Lostum, he could do it now. Not much defensive going on here other than the aura. Reduced chance to be crit. He's also sitting on terrain. It's mountain terrain. But McLean would be able to attack from water. Both teams burning their obvious tank actions first, so they don't have to commit to their DPS. We will see very soon, though, whether Trinhuv wants to try making a play against something just without Miracle. See what happens. Alright, this is the priming hit. This is just to throw some damage down. Maybe get your target under 100% HP. Maybe burn off a Rosen Seal stack or two. Trin now thinking? Is this the time? By now, he's already decided on a target. This just gives minus 20% magic damage. So it's not necessarily a high stakes or like a high priority target for Trin because his DPS are physical. Has the meta changed recently from 3 months ago? I wouldn't say necessarily between 3 months ago and now, but with the upcoming slate of banners, the PvP meta is going to be going through significant change this season. Okay, so Lostum does go in, take out the candle. That opens up a Zera Ball for Z2. And then Lostum back to nice, delicious terrain. So not exactly the most high priority target, but it was kind of low-hanging fruit, because of all the things on Cecil's team, it was probably the easiest thing for that Lostum to kill. So now we're going to see Cecil pull the trigger on his McLean. He's been waiting, and he wants to kill something here. Lostum is now sitting nice on terrain, so this might be a harder kill than it would have been earlier. Zerida has a revive. Rosen is full with Shrine Maidens. Yeah, so Lostum, kind of, again, the lowest hanging fruit as far as Cecil's targets go. And it looks like a pretty easy kill for that McLean there. Now, really, the only hope for Trinhuv's team is going to be that this Zerida has to crack through Lightbringer. No other way to ignore guard here, no appreciable AoE damage source, so either gotta kill the tank, which isn't going to be the easiest thing with only 1 DPS, and you've got a healer on the other side. So you've either got to kill that tank or basically just get into the mid and out-damage Cecil's team. Which, again, is not going to be the easiest thing when you're up against an Annie, an AO, and McLean can throw some healthy damage out as well. Be interested in seeing what Trinhuv's actually going to try here. Yeah, Ding and Lonebird mentioning in the chat also that this was not actually counting as terrain for Lostum because it was one of McLean's water tiles. Super unfortunate for a terrain-reliant boy like Lostum and his Doberman. Well, okay, I suppose that's Trinhuv's other DPS, is his Lightbringer with her "Please, is the rest of my team dead" skill. Yeah, Cobra, I mean, it's one thing to say fight for mid, but then once you get into mid, you still need to, if you're going all the way, you need to outdamage the opponent's team. So Trinhuv can get into mid. Both players have used the exact same amount of backup time. Exact, the literal definition of exact being the exact same number. Literal, in this case, meaning figurative. Okay, so Zerida parking right in the middle there. Gonna be looking to get her first hit off on Lightbringer. Not taking the first life. Pretty close, though. Yeah, there were a couple ways that could have killed. Even if she had just been in range for the AoE, that might have finished that life off. Okay, Zerida trying for it here with Air Slash, and does take out the tank. Okay, interesting. So her debuff immunity was down. I guess the previous hit must have stripped it. So Zerida able to finish that off, and this opens things up for Trinhuv a lot. Cecil now not working with the tank. So Trin can basically park here with his tanks and just gradually let his team chip the rest of Cecil's units down, who are now unguarded. And they want to be able to do that before McLean can potentially kill something else. Oh, the mirror just ran out on its own. I wasn't furiously checking her cooldowns. So that was a nice patient play from Trin. That definitely puts the pressure on Cecil to make something happen here. Although to make anything happen, he really kind of needs that Zerida dead. And she has a revive. These two mages trying to combo down Trinhuv's Lightbringer. Combining to put up some decent damage, but not successfully taking one life yet. Zerida with no skills for a bit. Miracle's back. Trin just chucking some damage around with his tank. Kind of a scary amount of counter damage there. Risky. One nice thing about, like, if McLean's able to get that first life off Zerida, for example, she does not have an easy source of Zera balls. There was one here that just got burned in the fog. And without a way to refresh her Zera ball talent buff, she is kind of neutered. So we'll see if Cecil's able to kind of take her out of the play a bit. So Trin's going to be looking to refresh guard with his Lightbringer here next turn, and then he's going to have access to his skill again, so he will have one more DPS unit briefly. Trin also with more control of the mid here, Christian blocking off this 4th slot. So McLean's first life is down. Alright, this is the time that you make this attempt. Okay, sure enough, Zerida's revive used. She's weaker than ever now. But McLean can't revive and he's not being guarded, so if Trinhuv just chips away his life, that provides Zerida with a nice fresh Zera ball right there front and center, right where she wants it. Plenty of time for that to come out. Cecil right now briefly ahead in damage numbers. We still have 3 turns. So if Cecil wants to pick up the damage lead here with his AoEs, I mean, it's certainly possible, because Trin really needs to start killing people. And that's kind of hard to do with a weakened Zerida. Annie also eats up this last slot. Trin kind of delayed moving in and claiming it with his Lightbringer, so she's going to have to use a revive here. Ending turn in the fog. Cecil's AO is also going to end turn in the fog, but she'll revive next turn because her little clone portal works on fog tiles. So I suspect he'll just throw out some damage with her, die, and then come back next turn and throw out more damage. Does open up a pretty healthy damage lead for Cecil. Also, this Lightbringer is at risk of dying. I mean, she's gonna die because she's gonna have to end her turn on Fog. Oh, or not. Oh, well, she probably dies just from getting punched with this AO now. She's low enough. Opening up a spot there, though, to provide another source of Zera balls and potentially get that Lightbringer in. I think the Lightbringer just dies here, though. Oh, saved. Saved by Glory of the World, and actually that wouldn't have been enough damage to kill her anyway, thanks to AO's extremely weakened clone. So Trin's going to be able to move in here to safety. Cecil only has Elma and a non-DPS skilled... Okay, so McLean just got his DPS skill back here now. Still a couple turns left. But it really looks like Trin is probably going to be able to catch up now. Yeah, even Christiane is out-damaging McLean on those melee hits. Gonna try to heal him to keep him alive. Does Zerda have any skills? She will in just a second. So this is gonna kill off the McLean. And pass Cecil in damage. And that's gonna be game. Yep. No way for Elma alone to survive that onslaught, much less outdamage the team. So that one was very interesting in the sense that it came kind of right down to the wire. I know there were a couple turns left, but Trin needed to go with the just sit in mid and pound away at Cecil's team strat. The turning point of that match was definitely the one early flip-off of the mirror debuff, allowing Zerda to get that anti-revive debuff on Lightbringer and kill her off. If Cecil had an immune Lightbringer there, it would have been much more work for Trinhuv to be able to start pounding on his team. So definitely kind of a close match, a rough one to have it come down to one little mistake like that. Cecil's in the chat saying he's tapping out, which means by the time the stream delay catches up, we may see this Cecil forfeit game 2. But thanks, Cecil, for very interesting game. Good to see two strong players in action like that, and congrats on getting this far in the playoffs. You did our guild proud, I think. Unless by tapping out you mean you're fully ceding control to your co-pilot, in which case... No, that thank you emote looks like it's done. Yeah, okay. Thanks, Cecil. Well, we still have some time since that one, we only got to see half of that one, so why don't we go and explore. Q beat Danilu there. We'll see what other games are on. We got Sadao versus Loon. We've got Absol, who's already defeated Deftros. Congrats, Absol. We've got Seven Heaven versus Lost Melkor. We've got Gaul has won in his bracket. Hayl's match is still on. Oh, he's down a game too. Maybe we'll come back to watch Hayl. Tiny is still in battle against Kazgao. Lee-Man and B-Guy. Valabar, the auto-run Slayer, still going. SuperBigCup, still going against Yusei. Meow Sensei and Cool. That is a battle of the main quarters. Cool is probably streaming that one, though, isn't he? I hate to step on his toes if he's streaming. Yeah, he's streaming, so I'm not going to step on his toes. If you want to watch that one, you can depart from my stream and go see his. We've got Seven Heaven Nice versus Zanson, and it looks like Seven Heaven is ahead in that. Appa versus FSN Saber. Jaden Nelson actually having to fight for a change, but he is up a game. What do you say, folks? Do we want to check out Hayl's game? Let's just take a peek and see how old Hayl's doing. So, we do know that 251k is up a game. Oh my gosh, his backup time is gone. What turn is this? It's turn 3. Hayl has a bunch of backup time. 251's down, down, down. So what do we have? We've got a double tank set up here with Liana, Lostom, and Grenshiel. And for Hayl's side, we have also a Lostom, a Grenshiel, also a tank and a healer, and instead of a second tank, we have a McLean here. Interesting. So 251k is going to be looking for an opening for his Grenshiel to get in and shut this guard down. It looks like there was already a little exchange of words between these two Lostoms as they're both injured. This one brought Dark Elf snipers, probably to facilitate killing this Grenshiel. Okay. Hayl with pretty good control in mid here. Hayl also only has to close this spot, which he just did, so 251's Grenshiel, unless she gets a breeze, is not able to reach to throw down the Grenshield behind Lightbringer. So that means currently the only avenue of attack 251 has is with a Lostom. And he also is fully out of backup time, so 251 is going to be on the giant 15-second countdown timer debuff, flashing in your face, throwing you off your game for the rest of this match. He decides to let Hayl's Lostom get back up to 100% HP and back onto terrain, so that kind of takes him off the table as a really favorable assassination target. But he's going. If it's Slayer's Emblem, maybe he can go for the Grenshiel here, and not quite. Not quite. So unfortunately, what we've had so far is a fairly clumsy exchange of Lostoms. Hayl can basically just hang tight, regain health with this. There's no reason for Hayl to really push in right now. He's not at risk from the only DPS that 251k has active right now. For about a turn, anyway. He may also... Okay, he's going to leave Lightbringer there. Okay, so 251k can kind of inch forwards, and then maybe make a play with Grenshiel next turn. Just throwing a little bit of damage on terrain there. Terrain that won't block the Grenshiel. But catching a breeze as well. Rice Crew is back on the hype train, conducting a new hype train. Thank you for the sub on behalf of yourself, but also thank you for the sub on behalf of everyone else who just got those subs. Schmendrick. Shining Nikki. Soda. Wait a minute. Soda wasn't subbed already? Valabar? Welcome to Rice Crew's hype train. As good a time as any for that hype train to get started, because Hayl's hype train is just about to go now. Oh, Treborselbon as well. I forgot to call you out by name, but I just saw your little Seal Guardian come up on the screen, so congrats. Yep, Rice Crew, a total boss once again. And here we have what I can only imagine has to be the 4th time in this game that a Lostum has barely failed to kill something. So Hayl's Lostum makes an attempt against 251's Lostum, barely survives again. We're having a lot of Lostum, sketchy Lostum whiffs. Yeah, I'm not sure, Benjamin. We'd have to... I guess even if we go back and watch the replay, we won't really see. But given the fact that 251 is clustered up in the back, close to the fog here, it was probably something to do with him trying to be very conservative about positioning. So Hayl with the old 1-2 punch with Assassins weakens the Lostum with his own Lostum, and then goes in for the finishing blow with his McLean. Unfortunately, that does mean McLean is not quite able to get back to guard range. It opens up the slot in front of Lightbringer for this Grenshiel, which means Gren is going to be able to take her pick of targets here. Her pick between Grenshiel and Lostum, most likely. Grenshiel makes sense because she's the one who still has an active attack, but oh no, not able to finish it off. A weakened, not 100% HP Grenshiel, not being guarded, not on terrain, still not quite able to finish it. And as soon as that happened, 251 just throws the towel in. So we're going to be going to Game 3 in 251k versus Hayl. This is it. This is single elimination now, winner take all. So Hayl already working with some backup units. I would not be surprised with him as player 2 now to see him going back to maybe... well, I mean, he always has like a Hayl tank team, but he may decide, well, we'll see, we'll see. He may go to the backup box anyway. 251 also switched to like a full Turtley team after the first game, which we did not see. So yeah, these 4 coming up, 2 healers and 2 tanks, is definitely an adaptation for I know I'm going to be player 2 now. So yeah, we may see both of these players decide to flip their boxes back to something closer to what they had in Game 1. So maybe we will have not quite a replay of Game 1, but we'll see what 251's strength was that let him beat Hayl in Game 1. Molten Core is also an interesting map because it's not one that makes it super easy to just lumber towards mid and then just hang out in mid. Obviously that can still happen, but the gameplay to get there is a little bit different. Alright, so yes, definitely 251k going back to his original box. So Polly's out here, IBC's out here, Sissy's out here. Hayl really just gets rid of McLean, not liking McLean on this map, I guess. Joa and Connie, one of Hayl's favorite rush units. By the way, also got to appreciate the strategic mastery of Rice Crew for gifting 5 subs and then subbing himself last, so his name gets to be on the latest subscriber field for who knows how long. Calculated. Okay, so both AOs off the table. 251 first pick and Grenshiel, partly thinking that Hayl may have tried to go with a tanky team, and Grenshiel is the de facto counter against those kinds of teams, but also Grenshiel's just really good on this map. Hayl instead, not being baited, first picks Zerida, bans 251 Zerida, and first picks his own Zerida. So a nice aggro stance from Hayl to start. Zerida is a good counter to Zerida, because if you're up against her with no Rosen Seal, you can just kill her. One hype, yep. 251 is not shy about using backup time. What does he want to do here? Goes for a double DPS ban, which is interesting because he's letting Hayl have tank plus Rosen. I mean, I guess it kind of goes with his initial game plan, which is why he picked Grenshiel to start with. But if I can fight against tank plus Rosen or tank plus not Rosen, I would rather fight against tank plus not Rosen. This is Hayl's only opportunity to get a healer here, and when you're up against Leon now, I feel like Hayl's gotta pick Rosen. Interesting. And 251 still not even banning her. Doesn't care. Doesn't matter. Rosen or no Rosen. Doesn't matter to him. I mean, Lost Him is good on this map because there's a lot of sneaky little terrain that he can hook around to. Don't tell me you're going to give Hayl 5th pick Rosen against a tank and an Oboro. You got to get rid of Rosen at this point. Alright, I don't even know what I'm watching right now. Obviously 251 is still in the playoffs and I'm not, so he's got something up his sleeve that I'm not seeing. But there it is. 5th pick Rosen, you've got your Landius, you've got your Oboro. 251's only tank is Sissy's Lancer. Also got an Act again there. We've also got, I guess... Yeah. I mean, the 5th pick IBC, she is only benefiting Epsilon. Hayl gonna be in his comfort zone with this team comp as well. I think I give the edge to Hayl here after pick and ban. What do you think, chat? If this was a situation where I thought 251 could, like, outplay Hayl and get him off his game and sneak in and, you know, throw a Ren Shield down and kill someone, like the Oboro, I guess. But what else do you got? You got Leon coming in. I guess, yeah, I mean, you can scramble. You can gamble on the scramble. Other than that, like, Leon's AoE isn't going to do too much damage that sticks against a Rosen Seal. Alright, let's see what we got. Mech Knights and 3C. Stealth. Discipline, I guess, for faster cooldowns than her other actual single target skill. Landius with his sad heavy Centurion troops, the anti-Leon troops. It is Horse versus Lance, so that's not bad. "3C" on Rosen is the quintessential anti-Leon skill. This Oboro is also going to go into action a turn faster thanks to Landius's faction buff. So if 251 wants to get in here and start mixing things up, he's going to have to do it a little bit faster. Epsilon responsible for his own faction buff. He also has no stacks, for a while at least. Maybe Sissy's going to be sacrificing summons to feed Epsilon stacks. Oh yeah, I see Rice Crew said that in the chat as well. That's one of the nice things about Sissy, is that there's a handful of different characters that she can kind of enable in some way or another. One thing Hayl can do is just kind of hang out back here with his Oboro. And if 251 doesn't charge his units all in together to combo, then Hayl may be able to kind of pick them off one by one. Theoretically, 251 does not go in such a way that allows that to happen. Catching a breeze on this Leon is nice. But if he is going to go into Scramble, he also needs to have some follow-up for the Scramble. So if he gets a good Scramble... I mean, a good Scramble for that Leon means someone comes out of guard range and into, like, Grenchiel or IBC range. So at least IBC will have a faction buff from Grenchiel. And Epsilon already charging in. He's in deep. He's got his faction buff up. He's got his stealth up. So we do have a little bit of potential Epsilon shield disrupting with, like, Zerida's AoE. If she were able to get herself in and teleport to herself and do that little, like, post-move AoE to bust his shield. Okay, 251 gets a breeze on Gren as well, so that is certainly promising in terms of being able to reach after a potential Scramble. A gust of unit, but for breeze. In the sense that, like, if the enemy breezes, they actually get negative mobility instead of positive mobility. That would be pretty funny. Discord is quiet, everyone's still watching games. It's an interesting question, ATN. Yeah, so they get plus attack when attacked. That could be dangerous. Plus, if nothing else, we know Hayl has a good Landius. Landius was his theme character for a long time. Although I think he's given up the dream, now that he's embraced Rush. Oh, we're getting the act again on the IBC already. This is basically just to get her ready for post-Leon Scramble. What's her act again? Give her 2 or 3 blocks? 3? Okay, so let's see if we get a good scramble. We're gonna have a scramble, and then we've got Gren breezed up and ready to come in. We've also got IBC acted again, ready to come in. She'll reach. Theoretically, she'll reach, depending on how this scramble goes. Leon barely survives. Ooh, that's a good-ish scramble. That's a good-ish scramble. Zerda kind of doesn't really matter. Lostum is left up here out of guard range. There's openings all around this Landius, which allows Grenshiel to kind of come in and potentially kill whoever she wants. And IBC can reach Oboro from here. So this is actually kind of a scary... Yeah, Oboro knows that if he doesn't do anything, he's probably toast. Might as well transform right now, because 251 doesn't have a tank, or he's going to have, like, a sissy Lancer tank. So if he's going to die, he might as well do something. So pops his transformation, gets a Zera ball back here, and kills that Leon. But that said, we still have 2 weapons coming in from 251's team, and none of these units are being guarded right now. So the question is, for 251, who does he want to kill and in what order? The Lostum's an easy kill. The Oboro, somewhat of a more difficult kill. No Shrine Maidens on this. She's under guard right now, so she's not the target for IBC, but she may be a target for Grenshiel when she comes in. Okay, Oboro goes down. Kind of seemed close. We're building up stacks on this Epsilon, too. In fact, 251 is still going to have turn priority after this. So this is a smart move, I think, from Hayl. Using the 3C, that means that she's not really a good target anymore. She's going to have a revive. Also brings the Lostum back up to 100%. I mean, she could go for the Zerida, but that doesn't really seem like a good plan to me. What do I know? I mean, this is a clear Zerida targeting move. As long as he does it from far away enough that Zerida can't, like... Well, she'll get a Zera Ball. No, if Gren takes the first life off Zerida here, from somewhere that Zerida can't just, like, teleport into this to get it and then go kill Gren Shield, then it's fine, I guess. I mean, I think Zerida just goes here, teleports, collects her revive, and then... Well, he's not guarding. So with turn prio then, 251 can either try to kill Zerida again? Well, we'll have to see what happens. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves. She doesn't have Act Again, she only has Discipline. Epsilon won't be able to reach all the way up here. If Zerida does go up and manages to kill this Grenshiel, she's not going to try to kill the Grenshiel. She's just going to kill the IBC. It's an easier kill, but I think a less impactful one. Oh, 251 is not going to have turn priority. I didn't see that he hadn't already moved his Epsilon. I thought that Epsilon had already moved this turn. Okay. That makes the course of events that we just witnessed make a little bit more sense for Hayl. Yeah, Epsilon is in such a rough place. So 3 stacks with his 3C against this Lostum and nada. So yeah, I think I mean, Hayl's still in good shape. He's still got a full Zerida here. Chipping this Epsilon shield is going to be annoying. And this Gren shield can still come down and kill something. Epsilon just feels so bad right now. I've seen a lot of people whiffing kills with him. I've tried to put him back in, and I've whiffed kills with him. So yeah, one thing you can do against Epsilon, even if you're not getting through the shield, stun him. So we're basically just looking at Grenshiel now on 251's side. And he has to deal with the Zerida that has her stack up. Like, she has her talent revive, and she has another Zeraball waiting for her down here if she needs to collect it again. There's our tank. Yeah, Rice Crew, the assassin meta kind of just gets replaced by the super bruisers who do everything meta. Like, Andriao... Namiya is kind of functionally an assassin, but like Eshin, those characters, Apotheosis, basically just like crush units and trade with each other. Okay, Gren just opting to run back to this tank. Zerda is going to be able to... Like, Hayl can just take a repositioning turn. He can kill this thing with Air Slash easily, and there's no reason not to. And Zerda can just come down and grab her Zeraball. Yeah, so she's top back up. The more times she gets killed, though, the smaller her revive is afterwards. So if 251 is allowed to keep killing her, eventually she becomes just pretty not dangerous. That said, this Epsilon's not doing anything for a bit. I guess if Hayl kills the Lancer, Epsilon gets his final stack, and his cooldowns come off a little bit. I mean, there isn't much that 251 can really do with this turn either. Epsilon may not want to waste his stealth quite yet. Excuse me. A timely mute for an enormous sneeze. Okay, so Epsilon does take advantage of his stealth one more time, but it's kind of awkward timing because next turn he's going to want to use his faction buff. She doesn't have her Gren shield for a bit. Well, next turn, I guess. Like I said, he can't do anything this turn. He doesn't have his 3C back unless something dies. So it would be a good turn for him to faction buff, but you would like to do that from stealth. I guess it doesn't really matter. Okay, 251's just going to back off completely. But wherever you run, Lostom can pretty much find you. And that looks like what he's going to do right now. That's why I said during Pick Ban, this is kind of a sneaky map for Lostom, because he has those little pieces of terrain all around, and he can just pull himself over these gaps. So all 251 has now is an Epsilon. Thanks to Grenshield dying, though, Epsilon does have his 3C up. So he can kind of come back and I guess try to kill this Lostom. Still fail, even with 4 stacks. That's the end of that game. So congrats to Hayl for moving on to, I guess, the top 16 at this point. Let's see if there are any games still on. We'll be able to see who people's opponents are going to be as well. So Trinhuv moves on from this group to face Q. That is going to be an excellent match in the group stage. Sadao moves on from this match to face Absol. That'll be a really good match too. Those are both really strong, interesting players. Seventh Heaven Forza is going to move on to face Gaul. Hayl is going to move on to face Kazgao, who defeated Tiny earlier. B-Guy is going to move on to face Valabar. I know, I can just... leave me alone. Okay, I can't quite yet because this game is still on. SuperBigCup still fighting yusei. Let's come back to this one in Group K if we need to. Meow Sensei defeated Cool, so he'll be facing the winner of SuperBigCup and yusei. Seventh Heaven Nice defeated Zanson, and he'll be facing another Seventh Heaven, Appa. Usually those guys either agree to play in advance or they agree who they think should go on. And then Jaden Nelson will go on to face Pay the Toll. Oh, that'll be a good game too. Pay the Toll, one of the remaining main chord champions. So we only have one active game still on. Sure enough, we're in game 3. Let's see what the lay of the land looks like. Okay, there's some chaos. There's some chaos. SuperBigCup has an Oboro back here with a couple stacks, a stunned Gintoki, and AO, a clone AO, who's in deep right now. Yusei has a Polyol who's charged in to stun this Gintoki. We also have an actual alive AO, and a Lina, and a Lucretia. Okay, this is SuperBigCup's Z2 as well. She must have jumped in. So, quite the all-over-the-map battle going on here. Okay, SuperBigCup's AO clone takes out Lina and thus revives as a full AO, and we have got a scary game ahead of us now. With a full AO, a full Oboro waiting in the wings, and a full Z2, it looks like SuperBigCup has the edge here. Lucretia's Golem is gone. AO is here. She's always scary. And Polyol has used her charge already. She still has her normal AoE, which maybe this is strong enough to take out this Gintoki. I have a feeling we'll be finding out soon. Okay, yusei is not going to risk that to find out, instead burning AO's huge 3C to ensure the kill against Gintoki with 23% HP. No question that that was going to kill. So we've got an AO versus AO battle in the middle here. I just think SuperBigCup has a couple of more reliable, better weapons in addition to that, with a full Z2, a full Oboro. This Polyol, unless I'm totally underestimating her, is not going to be able to do too much. Benjamin, people are definitely using Lena in Apex. She can be a scary unit, especially for the whales who got her built up to fully juiced 6-star status already. Of which there are definitely some. I don't know if yusei is one of them. Alright, Oboro taking out both of Polyol's lives there. And we basically, for yusei's side, just have this AO who's, not gonna lie, in danger right now. And a Lucretia who has Black Hole but nothing else. And yeah, SuperBigCup is now going to basically be able to patiently chip away at this AO now. Even though she's strong, and even though she has a revive, if you save her for last, you don't even have to kill her twice. You can just kill her first, she turns into a little clone portal, and that's the end of the game. So let's see if yusei is able to put enough room between himself and the enemy team. Oh no, counter killed by the Oboro! The exploding Oboro actually finishes the game for SuperBigCup, and that is it for that match as well. So those are all the games. And here we have our official final round bracket. Trin versus Q, Sadao versus Absol, Forza versus Gall, Hayl versus Kazgao, B-Guy versus Valabar, SuperBigCup versus Meow Sensei, Nice versus Apapa, and Jaden Nelson versus Pay the Toll. So that means Pay the Toll, if you're watching, I know you're talking in main chord right now, but if you're watching, if you don't beat Jaden Nelson, he's gonna get a walk from one of these. These guys are all in the same guild, so that means it'll be a guaranteed 7th Heaven semifinal at least. So no pressure. Next week, for next week's stream, I'm not going to exactly go through my predictions for these quite yet, because I want everyone, we've just watched a bunch of Apex matches, I want everyone to have like a week to settle and simmer and think about these matchups in your own little minds, and we'll come together next week before the stream to talk about who we think has the best chance of winning each of these games. I'm gonna go take a pill and have some chicken noodle soup, and, lay down and try to recover from whatever this head cold, or whatever this is. Yeah, maybe I'll sleep all week. So we've got an episode of Should You Summon coming up, focusing on Apotheosis. I'm going to have my Apotheosis summoning session. I've also got another unboxing video coming up this week. And then after the playoff streams, I'm going to book off for vacation. So we have an eventful week coming, and hopefully a restful one as well. I will catch you all soon with whatever my first episode that drops is. Probably my unboxing is going to come out before Should You Summon. But either way, stay tuned for those. Thanks to Rice Crew for fully funding a bunch of new subscribers, and I'll see you next time. Happy Langrissing, everyone.